front. In middle distance, 200 meters from where you are seated now, there's a very prominent tree. As you can see, there's a yellow flag has in place on the top of the tree. The line joining the observer's point, the yellow flag, and beyond is the general line of observation. Look to your extreme right. In near distance, 60 meters, there's a green flag. Call it area green flag. The line joining the observer's point, the green flag, and beyond is the full right. Look to your extreme left. In near distance, 100 meters, there's a luminous green flag. Call it area luminous green. The line joining the observer's point, the luminous green flag, and beyond is the full left. Reference luminous green flag. Right 2 o'clock. Middle distance 120 meters. There's a purple flag. Call it area purple flag. That is the southern edge of the insurgent objective. Reference purple flag. Right 4 o'clock. Near distance 100 meters. As you can see, there are container compartments. That is the container house of the insurgent. Reference right edge of the container house up 1 o'clock, middle distance 150 meters. There's an ash flag. Call it area ash flag. Along the general line of ash flag, 1000 meters, you will witness a parachuting of commandos and special forces to establish initial blocks in support of this amphibious raid. Reference ash flag. Right 1 o'clock. Far distance 400 meters. There's a brown flag. Call it area brown flag. That is the western edge of the insurgent hideout. Reference brown flag. Right 4 o'clock. Middle distance 180 meters. There's a communication tower with a red flag. That is the insurgent main communication tower. Back to general line of observation. Reference general line of observation. Right 1 o'clock. Far distance 600 meters. There's an orange flag. Call it area orange flag. The place where the helicopters are going to be landed to drop airmobile troops to provide covering fire when taking an initial foothold. Back to full right. Reference green flag left 9 o'clock 120 meters. There's a black flag. Call it area black flag. From black flag towards west up to orange flag is the beach landing site. Let me check back. Back to full right. Green flag, beach landing site, area orange flag, the general line of observation, communication tower, area brown flag, area ash flag, container house, area purple flag, full left, and observer's point. Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, now let me give a brief introduction to the insurgent objective. The target in front of you is the insurgent communication headquarters with a radar station at Kumburupiddi. As per the latest intelligence updates, this base consists of a communication tower, control station, operation room, command post, armory, and other defensive systems, as you can see in the target area. The base is 280 meters into 140 meters in size and consists of 5 turrets, 20 bunkers, 140 cadres with the intelligence leader and naval operation commander. The base is the main control hub of external support of the extremist groups and is the controlling headquarters of illegal activities like smuggling, sea piracy, and drug trafficking. However, in an actual scenario, the size of the insurgent objective might differ to 1000 meters into 2000 meters. Today, for your easy visualization, the size of the insurgent camp has been curtailed to 140 into 280 meters. The mission which has been assigned to the Special Operation Forces is to destroy insurgent communication headquarters with the radar station. The task force has planned to conduct an amphibious raid at dawn in 3 stages in a simulated ground, where the actions and the utilization of forces might not fit on with the geography and threat possessed by the insurgents. Moreover, for demonstration purposes, the amphibious raid had planned to conduct in this afternoon. In an actual scenario, all activities will be conducted stealthy at night. The mock amphibious raid will be unfolded in 3 stages. Stage 1, establishment of initial foothold by Special Operational Forces. Stage 2, expansion of the foothold by armor and mechanized infantry. Stage 3, further exploitation by the 583 Infantry Brigade of Reserve Strike Corps. Ladies and gentlemen, let me talk a bit about the identity of Special Operation Forces. Special Operation Forces are always deployed for national objectives, and their preparation and execution are carefully done at all levels. When a mission is given, individual teams have to plan their own execution. Exact mock model will be prepared, and many rehearsals carried out prior to any operation depicting several contingencies. During the planning process, teams would be provided with isolation facility, and finally, the teams has to present their plan to the commander by using rock drills. Special Operation Forces operations are always go with precision and are conducted at night with accurate intelligence.
Distinguished invitees, if you look right toward the sea, we are about to see a helicasting of a combined team of commandos, Special Forces of Sri Lanka Army, along with Special Boat Squadron of Sri Lanka Navy and Navy Special Service Group of Pakistan, some 300 meters from the shoreline.
This mission is taken up by number 6 Mi-17 helicopter squadron of the Sri Lanka Air Force. The Mi-17 helicopter is a product of Soviet Union, and approximately 12,000 units have been manufactured in different variants. The available variant in the Sri Lanka Air Force include the gunship version, troops and cargo transport version, passenger version, and the VVIP transport version. The Mi-17s of the Sri Lanka Air Force proved to be battle-worthy during the counter-insurgency operations, which was concluded 12 years back. The biggest advantage that Mi-17 possesses is its wide-body fuselage and its ability to carry heavy payloads up to 4 tons.
These teams consist of 12 skilled combat divers of commandos and special forces and 4 members of Special Boat Squadron and a member from Pakistan Navy Special Service Groups who are specially trained for mission of this nature. Helicasting is an airborne technique used by a small unit, Special Operation Forces, to insert into a military area of operations. The small unit is flown by helicopter to a maritime insertion point, and once there, the aircraft assume an altitude just above the water's surface where the team members exit the aircraft, usually with an inflatable boat, and enter the water. In an actual scenario, this is done 10 to 14 days before the main offensive to carry out extensive reconnaissance of the objective and to keep it under constant surveillances. Also, this is conducted under the cover of darkness beyond the horizon 10 to 12 nautical miles away from the objective to prevent detection to the insurgents. However, for the demonstration purpose, this is done in the close vicinity of the target area for your easy visualization of naked eye. Ladies and gentlemen, helicasting operation in some cases, depending upon the mission parameter and the aircraft used, personnel may be inserted along with an inflatable boat for over-the-horizon operations. When a fully inflated boat is transported and inserted with personnel, this type of operation is known as a hard dock. In case where a fully inflated boat cannot be accommodated by the aircraft, it can be partially deflated for transit and inflated at the insertion point using a foot pump. This type of operation is known as a soft dock. If inflation to any degree is not feasible, a roll dock may be performed. Once team members are in the water, they may swim to the objective, or in the case of a hard dock, soft dock or roll dock, conducted an over-the-horizon transit to the objective via inflatable boat. Once on the ground, these troops will pass down real-time information to the rear for the planning of the operation and also would carry out preparatory work for demolitions if required to facilitate the operation by the main force.
Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, please look at just above the area ash flag. In a short while, you can see why 12 aircraft of the Sri Lanka Air Force is approaching from south for a mission with 12 commandos and special forces paratroopers from the Sri Lanka Army on board.
Y-12 is a twin-engine light transport aircraft designed and developed by Harbin Aircraft Manufacturing Corporation, China. It was derived from its predecessor, Harbin Y-11. This is designed to suit both military and civil operations. The Y-12 can take off and land over short distances. Paratroopers are used for tactical advantage as they can be inserted into the battlefield from the air, thereby allowing them to be positioned in area inaccessible by land. They jump out of aircraft using their parachutes to land safely on the ground. It is one of the 3 types of forced entry strategic techniques for entering a theater of war. The other 2 are by land and sea. The ability of air assault to enter the battlefield from any locations allows paratroopers to evade enemy-placed fortifications that exist to prevent an attack from a specific direction. Another common use of paratroopers is to establish an airhead for landing other units.
Ladies and gentlemen, please bear in mind in reality action of these airborne forces is taking place 10 kilometers northwest of our location in different timeline to establish the blocks to facilitate the land operation by strike corps. An airborne force is a force composed primarily of a ground and air units organized, equipped, and trained for airborne operations.
Ladies and gentlemen, let me get back to the helicasting operation. You have already witnessed the helicasting of combat divers of commandos and special forces along with the members of Sri Lanka Navy Special Boat Squadron and a member from Pakistan Navy Special Service Group from a Mi-17 helicopter, but it can be done with the fixed wing as well as per the situation.
Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, the exercise Command Strike is an armed event, yet, needless to say, the assistance of our sister services is critical for its successful conduct. Therefore, let me now kindly request my naval and air force counterparts to give you a brief overview of their contribution to the exercise. So let's begin with Sri Lanka Navy.
Ladies and gentlemen, Sri Lanka Navy contributed to the success of the exercise Command Strike in several ways. This includes the assistance to the planning of the exercise, training of Army elites and infantry brigades in several aspects, and providing much needed naval assistance to the successful executions of well-coordinated missions. Sri Lanka Navy's offshore patrol vessels, fast gunboat squadron, 4th Fast Attack Flotilla, and inshore patrol crafts provide the naval gunfire support, transportation of troops, landing of troops to the objective areas. Elite Special Boat Squadron of Sri Lanka Navy coordinates all the naval action in addition to the assistance provided by way of insertion and extraction of troops, maritime interdictions operations, combat beach survey, securing of beach heads, combat diving, amphibious operations, and so on. The naval action of this concluding event today, which is at the critical engagement, includes providing naval gunfire support, landing and withdrawal of troops to and from the objective area by the sea. Distinguished invitees, you are requested to assume that the Navy is executing this task with the following assumptions. Target area is much larger than you see, and all previously inserted troops reposition at a safe distance from the naval fire arcs. On ships reach to the close proximity under the cover of dusk. Also, the naval forces are operating out of enemy surveillance and their weapons range.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Air Component Command of the exercise Command Strike carried out several missions including air reconnaissance, air interdictions, battlefield air interdictions, close air support, and air transport operations. The F-7 fighter aircraft are capable of conducting air interception, air interdictions, battlefield air interdictions, and close air support. Different variants of F-7BS and F-7GS aircraft available in the Sri Lanka Air Force are used for strike and interception missions respectively. The Mi-17, Bell 212 helicopters and Y-12 aircraft were utilized for air transport operations including heliborne, airborne, and casualty evacuation missions. During the exercise, these helicopters and aircraft carried out airlift of troops for airborne assaults, special heliborne operations, and air-landed operations. These aircraft operated as a single aircraft or in formation to fulfill the requirements of the ground troops.
Ladies and gentlemen, pay your attention towards the sea. Helicopter's troops are moving their inflated craft towards the shore. While carrying out this, the team has to maintain absolute surprise since they are very vulnerable as they close in the shore. You also can see the team members have taken up position in the craft to cover the assigned arcs to respond to any situation. The combat divers would move onto the shore and establish a height from where they would carry out detailed reconnaissance of the target. The reconnaissance includes the extent of the base, weapon positions, routing, and location of the key point, and so on. The team here is also surveying the area around the objective to locate the minefields and booby traps.
Ladies and gentlemen, helicasting can be an effective means of inserting and extracting special operation troops and equipment. The speed, range, and lift capability of rotary wing aircraft make them excellent waterborne delivery. With an arduous training for considerable amount of period, the today divers of special operation forces demonstrating their capability of executing such tasks in any weather, any terrain around the world.
Ladies and gentlemen, today for this mock amphibious, the Sri Lanka Air Force Air Power will discharge close air support, heliborne and airborne operations. The F-7 fighters will carry out strike missions, while the Mi-17's Bell 212 helicopters and Y-12 aircraft will respectively carry out heliborne and airborne operations. The heliborne operations consist of helicasting through roll duct method by Mi-17 helicopters to deploy special operation forces, divers, to reach their target, by sea through an air insertion and air extraction, including casualty evacuation missions by Mi-17 and Bell 212 helicopters. Ladies and gentlemen, within a few moments you will witness the battlefield air interdiction carried out by two F-7 fighter aircraft from number 5 squadron, which renowned as Black Drongos of the Sri Lanka Air Force, approaching from northeastern direction. Please pay your attention extreme right towards the sea. The objective of this attack is to cause maximum destruction and to suppress the insurgents and soften the target to enable less resistance to the assaulting troops from the land and sea.
Ladies and gentlemen, now you can listen to the ground to your conversation for confirmation of the target.
Now you just saw the two F-7 thundering through the skies, delivering their deadly payload onto the target. They will carry out their bombing missions by means of two passes with a 2 minutes gap between them. Ladies and gentlemen, these fighters are carrying 500 kilogram bombs, Mk-84s, fitted with retarded tail units to suit the mission-specific low-level strike. They just carried out their first pass and then they will turn left while maintaining the same altitude and will maintain their view of the target. The F-7 is a single-engine fighter aircraft designed and manufactured by Chengdu Aircraft Corporation of China. Its design is based on its predecessor, the MiG-21 aircraft. The F-7 is armed with two 30mm cannons, which can fire munitions at the rate of 60 rounds per minute. The aircraft has 5 hard points, 4 of which are located under 2 wings and 1 beneath the centerline fuselage section. Its payload includes PL-5 air-to-air missiles, unguided bombs weighing 50 to 500 kilogram, 55mm rocket pods, and 90mm rocket pods. The F-7 is capable of undertaking high and low-level interception, air interdiction, close air support, tactical support, point defense, and armed reconnaissance. It can be armed with 30mm cannon, AIM-9P, and R-550 missiles. So, ladies and gentlemen, once again you witness the F-7 completed their second pass at the enemy base.
Whiskey Hawk, Juliet targeting now.
Distinguished invitees, please look at the area orange flag. In a short while, you can witness the landing of two Bell 212 helicopters of Sri Lanka Air Force carrying Sri Lanka Army Special Operation Forces and land just behind the insurgent objective to provide covering fire to establish the initial foothold. Air mobile operation is an operation in which combat forces and their equipment move about the battlefield in aircraft under the control of a ground force commander to engage in ground combat. Any air mobile operation is by its very nature a complex combat operation. Simplicity must be gained through the utilization of ground tactical plan that does not involve complex maneuvers. The biggest air mobile operation in the history of the war to that point included South Vietnamese and US troops. The air mobile force is known as a force composed of ground combat elements combined with army aviation elements to conduct air mobile operations. The characteristics of air mobile operations are similar to the other ground combat operations but differ in a few areas. Am I to illustrate a few? The air mobile operations usually are executed in lightly defended areas and pre-assault nuclear or non-nuclear preparation with the advantages of initial tactical surprise. Air mobile forces can land directly on the or adjacent on the objectives.
Ladies and gentlemen, may I draw your attention to your half right. In the near distance, you can see the approach of Sri Lanka naval ship Bravery in order to provide the naval gunfire support. Naval gunfire support is one of the number of disciplines encompassed by the term naval fires. Modern naval gunfire support is one of the three main components of amphibious warfare assault operations support, along with aircraft and ship-launched land attack missiles. Ship-borne guns have been used against shore defenses since the early days of naval warfare. Now you may listen to the conversations among the sea units that are provided the naval gunfire support.
This is open fire on naval gunfire support to neutralize the enemy beachhead. Over.
Right astern of a Sri Lanka naval ship Bravery, you can now see the fast maneuver fast attack crafts belongs to 4th Fast Attack Flotilla of Sri Lanka Navy to provide the naval gunfire support. P4447, P4443, P462 and P490 have joined the missions today. The 4th Fast Attack Flotilla is the 4th element flotilla of the Sri Lanka Navy. The flotilla mission is to provide heavily armed and fast patrol boat capability to counter any hostile movements that endanger the national security along the coast and to protect the naval and civilian shipping from any kind of waterborne threats. Now you can witness the approach of the Cedric boats in order to provide the naval gunfire support. These boats have fitted with 23mm twin barrel, 14.5mm twin barrel, 12.7mm anti-aircraft guns, automatic grenade launcher and 7.62 multi-purpose machine guns. The Cedric boats has been in the service with the Sri Lanka Navy Special Boat Squadron since its developments as part of the inshore petrol craft project. The Cedric boats are widely used by the Sri Lanka Navy for target interdiction out at sea. The devastating effects of the seaborne LTT e-suicide boats concept changed the Sri Lanka Navy strategy and its doctrine. Sri Lanka Navy developed a creative approach called small boat concept based on new equipment and tactics. New tactics were desperately needed to combat the LTT swarm tactics using small boats. The Sri Lanka Navy doctrine developed to combat LTT small boat concept. This concept merely adapted to counter the LTT swarming and suicide tactics by using Cedric craft, which is highly speed and heavily armed. Sri Lankan naval ship Ranagaja is on way to disembark armor and mechanized tanks to the shore after the Special Operation Forces gained the control on the ground. Sri Lankan naval ship Ranagaja is a landing craft machinery commonly known as LCM used by VS forces to transport equipment and troops to the shore. It is capable of transporting track or wheel vehicles and troops from amphibious assault ships to beachhead or piers. This ship was made by Colombo Dockyard Limited in 1991.
Ladies and gentlemen, please look at the area orange flag. Assumes the armor has been built through the Sri Lanka Navy landing craft machinery with the protection of the special operation troops and naval gunfire support. The T-55 main battle tanks group with the special operation forces at the fire base and provide covering fire to soften the insurgent objective to facilitate the subsequent landing of special operation forces to establish an initial foothold.
Distinguished invitees, when you keep observing your half right, you can see the Special Operation Forces closing towards the shoreline on board combat rubber raiding craft, followed by inshore patrol crafts of Sri Lanka Navy. All CRRCs are now approaching towards the beach. Teams comprise of 120 men from Special Operation Forces of Sri Lanka Army, Navy and Air Force and from friendly foreign countries. These teams have been fully briefed on the nature of their target based on the information passed by Special Operation Forces that carried out reconnaissance previously. They are all set to take on the objective to establish the initial foothold on the ground. Combat rubber raiding crafts are inflatable zodiac which can be both paddle and powered by outboard motors. CRRCs are widely used by Special Operation Forces community all over the world for over-the-horizon transportation, inserting lightly armed raiding parties or reconnaissance teams into the beaches, piers, offshore facilities, and larger vessels. The CRRC can be inflated in minutes by foot pump, compressor, or carbon dioxide tank and can be deployed from shore and variety of vessels. Additionally, it can be launched from several types of aircraft and submarines as well. Its chief advantages are lightweight, compact size, when stored, and the safety imparted by super buoyant nature, which gives the ability to operate high seas.
Ladies and gentlemen, now you can observe the CRRC with Special Operation Forces of the Army landing on the shore. The landing should take place at night, but for demonstration purposes, it is being carried out now.
Roger, copy, over.
Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, as you all keep paying your attentions towards the beach front, you can witness the Special Operation Forces personnel are now approached towards the beach front. Sooner the initial foothold is gained by the Special Operation Forces, troops are now approached towards the beach to strengthen and support their comrades already on land.
Ladies and gentlemen, now you can witness the Bell 212 of Sri Lanka Air Force mounted with machine guns and providing close air support for assaulting troops.
Let me recall the historical background of inshore patrol crafts. When Sri Lanka Navy was tasked with patrolling lagoons and inland waters as part of counter-insurgency operations, the first IPCs, the Cougar craft, were imported from the United Kingdom in 1985, which had a 50 caliber weapon mounted in front. These boats operated from the surveillance command ships as a daughter craft for intercepting and inspecting suspicious vessels at sea. Thereafter, IPCs were designed and built by local manufacturers as per Sri Lanka Navy's requirement.
Ladies and gentlemen, now you can listen to the radio conversation between team commanders fight in front.
Okay. First line, negative, meter, over. Okay, copy. 9499 South Western resistance ready. Engage close air support over. Roger, over. Station, quick movement. 99, okay. Second wave is on the shore. Roger, copy, over. 9499, first bunker second gun over. Roger, well done, keep going over.
Ladies and gentlemen, the insurgents are taken by surprise due to the sudden nature of the attack, and hence the assaulting troops can maintain the momentum. The teams are now fighting through the objective of eliminating the remaining resistance of the insurgents. Assault of this nature need to be audacious, high speed, and seamlessly coordinated. The raid should be conducted with a ruthless determination to succeed, since a failure here would entail operational and sometimes strategic consequences. The speed, surprise, and aggressive action to achieve total dominance against the enemy are of paramount importance.
We are suffering from 2 casualties. This is critical. Need helicopter instance over. 9, you carry on. I will send the stopper immediately over. Roger, copied. 9499, we have taken all the bunkers of first line over. Well done. Keep going. 99, okay. We have taken the commander flank over. Roger, well done. Very good job. Keep going. Okay, taken the motor bit. We have taken the motor bit over. Well done. Over.
Ladies and gentlemen, by clearing the container house of the insurgent objective Now you can see the Special Operation Forces have reached the mortar pit of the insurgent. By capturing the mortar pit, now you can see the assaulting troops continuing the expansion of the initial foothold for subsequent landing of 583 Infantry Brigade of Reserve Strike Corps. Ladies and gentlemen, just look at ahead of area orange flag. Now you can see the amphibious landed armor marine with mechanized infantry of Sri Lanka Army approaching to the insurgent objective for further exploitation of the area captured by the Special Operation Forces.
And then okay. We have taken half of the objective. We have the process to end up the objective over. Okay, go. Keep it up. 9499. 9499. 99, okay. We have critically injured two casualties, probably P1 casualties. Need heli to evacuate them over. Roger, Roger. Within 2 seconds, 2 minutes, heli will be there over. Need 941 and 31 over.
Ladies and gentlemen, as you can see, now the assaulting troops, Special Operation Forces, have reached the limit of exploitation, and now we are at the second stage of the operation, about to exploit the mechanized infantry along with armor. The best grouping of armor mechanized infantry, this has improved in the history of warfare in the Vietnam War. In August 1966, General Johnson of United States Army approved plans for study titled Armor and Mechanized Combat Operations in Vietnam. In Sri Lanka, during the humanitarian operation carried out against ruthless LTTE, both firearms were used extensively to bring victory over terrorism. Their mobility, shock action, and firepower are instrumental in war fighting. Ladies and gentlemen, the mission of securing beachhead in Kumurupidi is successful and troops are consolidating on the area. We have information that the Special Operation Forces have suffered a few casualties and the condition of one of them is critical. The medic believes that unless a surgery is administered soon, his life would be in danger. The Reserve Strike Corps commander has called for a helicopter for air evacuation. Now you can see Bell 212 helicopter of Sri Lanka Air Force is approaching the area for casualty evacuation.
Roger, copy, 942. Okay, okay.
LA-20 of Sri Lanka Navy today has joined the missions with 96 troops, belongs to 583 Infantry Brigade, and will sooner disembark to the area beach front. LA-20 is the landing craft, while referred as LCU. is a landing craft also known as Yunnan class, designed for carrying vehicles. Ladies and gentlemen, as you all keep your eyes fully open at the campsite of the Eastern Liberation Fighters, let me now shift your attentions to the area orange flag, where the landing site is selected for the landing craft to beach. The landing craft has embarked 96 men, belongs to 583 Infantry Brigade for Reserve Strike Corps. It is a known fact that the vessels, after beaching to an enemy territory where the full military control has not been gained, could be vulnerable for any immeasurable fatalities, either for men who are about to disembark or for the vessels. The battlefield is a scene of utter carnage due to the Special Operation Forces targeted the Eastern Liberation Fighters and their installment successfully. However, from the northeastern side of the land, now we can slightly see a cluster of Eastern Liberation Fighters attack craft making a southward course to attack and inflict damages for troops who are being disembarked by the LCU using their small attack craft. You can now witness the maneuver of FACs of fast attack flotilla to engage the enemy craft. If speed is the name of the game, fast attack crafts are indomitable. They showed their teeth in literal confrontations time and time again. Hit first, hit hard. That's the motto. These attack crafts does 40 to 45 knot speed and have an endurance of 500 nautical miles. Ultra-high-speed class of patrol boats meant for a variety of naval missions, from offshore coastal patrol missions to high-speed, high-maneuver littoral warfare. As the FACs are equipped with MC Soptronics and Typhoon GFCS as its own weapons control system, it can detect, localize, and classify the multiple targets that are incoming towards the own vessel and neutralize them quite easily. Also, these crafts are commonly used, Furuno FR-8250, band radars for surface search. Therefore, compared with similar patrol boats of other navies, Sri Lanka Navy FACs are more heavily armed and faster.
Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, as you can see on the beach landing site, the 583 Infantry Brigade of Reserve Strike Corps has disembarked from the LCM, and they are ready to take beach landing site from Special Operation Forces for further exploitation. Since there is no threat, they will conduct a non-tactical move to take over the battle from the Special Operation Forces.
By preventing the attempt of the sea units of Eastern Liberation Fighters, FACs are now engaged with its armaments. The technology is not tactics, but it's super important to any naval battles, which may have a decisive effect in both the phase of battle and affecting its outcome. Close quarter battle is now experienced and main armaments are fully engaged. Armaments of FACs are ranging from 1 or 7 mm rocket launchers, 30 mm Bushmaster twin gun, 14.mm cannons, automatic grenade launchers, Type 80 machine guns, W85 heavy machine gun, including 12.7 mm and 7.62 mm machine guns. This weapon system plays pivotal role by destroying enemy craft during similar battles in this nature before you have been rammed or explode close to the FAC. It's obvious that the FACs are meant for this nature of battles and has been proven enough over a number of confrontations in the history of Sri Lanka war terrorism. Ladies and gentlemen, having suffered the great losses over the battle with shock and surprise, attack craft of Eastern Liberation Fighters are now seem of changing their minds of attacking the landing craft and the men who disembark. Yes, it is. Now you can witness that the craft are being pulled out from the area by the enemy. Ladies and gentlemen, fast attack craft of Sri Lanka Navy have just gained the total control over the entire sea area.
Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, now we have come to the end of the critical engagement of the exercise Commando Strike 2021 conducted by the Reserve Strike Corps of Sri Lanka Army along with the Sri Lanka Navy and Sri Lanka Air Force. May I now have your eyes on the screen to see the missions accomplished clip.